Last time this took me like 4 or 5 hours to film. This time it took me 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's why you do pre-planning. Today we're going to be planning my September TBR. And the reason why we're planning my September TBR is because I challenged myself to participate in every single readathon, read-along and book club that I came across within a set amount of days, and now I need to figure out how I actually can participate in everything. This is kind of like a part 2 to my previous videos. I have a part 1 where I list or talk about all of the readathons, read-alongs and book clubs I came across. In this video we're actually going to figure out my TBR. I have a lot of things to consider. I already have a September TBR that I also announced earlier in a previous video. I then have more than 10 book events to try and participate in. So book events meaning readathons, read-alongs and book clubs. I think it's about 7 or 8 readathons, 3 or 4 book clubs, like it's a lot. We're gonna try and make this work. I'm sitting by my computer so that I can actually type things down. I'm also grabbing my Kobo because I need to look up like if I need to get things from the library or if I need to purchase any ebooks or like what I have. I'm usually trying to work with what I have in my physical TBR and what's on script. I've done this once before and okay, the thing is, I actually really love this. I keep joking about that, oh, I'm in so much trouble, I hate this is so difficult. It is, but I also love it. I wouldn't be doing this if I did not enjoy the process of like finding these readathons and planning the TBRs and being a bit stressed. You can feel bad for me, you can wish me luck, but also know that there's 100% consent to myself that I'm doing this. I feel like I'm just blabbering. I don't have time to blab. We need to get down to business. We're gonna try and do this in sort of a structure. We're gonna start talking about the books I already know I will need to read in September. So like book club picks, read-along picks, and also already set TBRs for various readathons. I did make a video where I did my rolls for Becca's BookoplAthon. So I already know my prompts there and already decided on TBR for that one. We also have a readathon that was based on polls, and I have the results from those polls, so I know what I need to read there. And then with the rest of the readathons and events, we just kind of figure it out as we go. I think originally there were 7 readathons, then just about less than half an hour ago, the lovely Esme from Bookish Buddies announced the mini round of the GreekGodAthon. I participated last time. I was a co-host, not the best co-host, unfortunately. I will be better next time, I promise. Esme is so lovely and she makes the best graphics and has the most fun readathons, so of course I'm gonna participate. So I'm adding willingly an 8 readathon to this. Let's start with book clubs. First book club is the Haunted Corner, and their book of the month is White Smoke. I believe the book club is actually like bi-monthly, so it's their September and October pick. So I might not necessarily read it in September, depends on what else I need to read, but I'm still gonna read this at some point. It's a YA horror book and it features ghosts. That's all I know. Second book club is actually a read-along and it's hosted by the Read-along Queens. And in September they are starting the Founders series. And the first book in that series is Founders Side. This is, I think, an adult fantasy. I don't think it's on script, but I don't think my library would have it either. I think this is one of those books that I would actually need to purchase. I don't know what it's about. What is it about? It's about a thief and her latest target. Okay. Interesting. Third book club is the Literally Dead book club, and their September book is The It Girl by Ruth Ware. I already know that this is on script as an audiobook, so I will be listening to this one. Final book club, book event, read along is starting in October actually, and it's the Backlist book club hosted by Cass, and they are reading Shadow of What Was Lost, but this one starts in October, so I won't consider this one for my September TBR. I will keep an eye out for live shows. I don't know when they are. Usually live shows are announced a bit closer to the actual events, so like the end of September. I will try and attempt to read these books before their live shows. Finally, one, not book club per se, but a group book that I want to pick up is the group book for the LatinX book bingo. They are reading Burn Down, Rise Up, and I already checked as well, and this one is available on Scribd as an audiobook, so I will be listening to this one. But I need to consider that this readathon or book bingo actually starts By the end of September or second half, the Readathon LatinX book bingo is from the 15th of September until the 15th of October. So I just need to keep in mind that this is a book for the later half of September. I'm already stressed and we haven't even started with the readathons. This is amazing. One thing I'm doing this time with this planning is that I will actually set up goals for myself. The previous time when I did this, I ended up being a bit confused like how I would reward myself for finishing prompts, because I do have a book buying game, and if I complete a readathon or my TBR or stuff, I get to draw a book buying prompt, meaning I get to buy a book. But I realized that I was very confused last time, because obviously I have so many readathons to participate in. I'm not gonna be able to complete all prompts in all readathons. That's just insane. I'm not that insane, okay? I know I won't be able to read all books for all prompts in all readathons. What I did learn is that I need to set up goals for myself, and I'm gonna try and do realistic goals as well. So for each readathon, I will mention what my goal will be. Obviously for book clubs and read-alongs, the goal is just to read that particular specific book. But for the other events, I'm gonna say if my goal is to complete all prompts, or read 2 books, or read 1 book, or whatever. Now let's talk about books I actually know I'm gonna pick up, or I need to pick up. We have the MakeMeRead readathon, hosted by a bunch of amazing people. MakeMeRead readathon is a 2-week-long readathon where your TBR is chosen via polls. So you make a poll anywhere you like, and someone else gets to decide your TBR. I did this already. I've done 4 polls for this, and I decided to go by categories. So I already know the results, and we're gonna talk about them today. My first poll was for IllumiCrate books. I announced this in my September TBR that I do wish to get through a bunch of my IllumiCrate books in September. I'm starting to doubt that I will be able to do that, considering the amount of books I'm gonna need to read and how difficult it will be to fit everything into these readathons. So regarding my IllumiCrate challenge, or me reading my IllumiCrate books, I'm gonna say that my goal is to read 3 IllumiCrate books in the month of September, and I will be happy. For my IllumiCrate poll on Twitter, the winner ended up being This Woven Kingdom by Tare Mafi. I'm fairly certain this was on my May TBR, like the last time I did this, so it's back. Perhaps not the one I was most excited about when I put up my IllumiCrate TBR, but we're gonna make it work. It's time I read this one. The next category I did for my poll was currently reading, aka books I'm currently reading, or that are on my currently reading on Goodreads. And it was actually a tie between 2 books. A tie between Jade Var and The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I was first wondering how I were to decide a winner, and then I simply decided that I get to decide a winner. The book I plan on reading for my currently reading in the Make Me Read readathon is Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the prequel to Hunger Games. I'm already a third through this. I have not read it in like 3 years, so that will be interesting. It's about Snow, President Snow, like his prequel, his origin story. Also, like, they are making the movie for this, right? So I feel like it's good for me to finish this one before the movie comes out. Next poll in the Make Me Read readathon was 22 books to read in 2022. I made a video at the start of the year with 22 books I wish to read this year. So this poll consisted of some of those books. And the winner for this one ended up being My Dark Vanessa. I'm actually excited about it. I've been wanting to read it for a while, so it's great that it's up here. The final poll I did for Make Me Read was in the category of 12 books recommended by 12 friends. This is another year-long challenge that I need to catch up on, because I've only read 1 out of those 12 books. The winner for this one ended up being City of Brass, another chunker, over 500 pages. Not certain what it is about, desert fantasy, possibly YA or new adult, not certain, but I've heard amazing things. So here we have the first pile for Make Me Read. Hopefully I can make these books work for other readathons as well. Otherwise I'm screwed. My personal goal for the Make Me Read readathon is actually to finish all of these books. Next readathon that I already have a set TBR for is Becca's BookoplAthon. You can see me make the rolls and like draw the prompts and all of that in my previous TBR video. Now I'm just gonna showcase the books really quickly. First prompt was to read a small book. For this one I picked Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory. Another book I've had for ages and that I really want to get to actually, and I think it's a good idea to have some non-fiction on my September TBR as well. The next prompt I drew was a chance card, and on that chance card we had Legends and Lattes, another short read actually, and I'm insanely excited about this one. I think it can be so freaking cozy, it's high fantasy, low stakes, and it's gonna be incredible. Next space I landed on the board was Community Shelf, where I got to draw amongst my own prompts, and I drew favorite author. So for this one I plan on reading Babel by R.F. Kuang. I don't have a physical copy yet, but I have 2 editions of it coming my way, hopefully very soon. So hopefully I will get it in September and I will be able to read it. The next space I ended up on the BookoplAthon board was poll pick. So I made a poll pick. I once again picked out some of my IllumiCrate books. The book that won, it was very tight, like so even in this poll. But the book that ended up winning was A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. So I'm gonna read this, hopefully it will be good. And that's actually the second IllumiCrate book already. So on a good way to finish my IllumiCrate goal, right? 5th roll was Features a Death. And I actually asked you guys in the video to give recommendations for which IllumiCrate books I could use for this. My original idea was to go for an Agatha Christie novel, because hey, murder mystery equals at least someone's dying, right? But because I want to read IllumiCrate books, I asked for recommendations with IllumiCrate books that features a death, and I got a bunch of great suggestions actually, so thank you very much. The one I decided to go for, and it might be a bit literal as well, but the one I'm gonna read for this one is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. Obviously we have death in the title, and then also I think someone mentioned that there is like a death somewhere in the story that is very central. Perhaps the main character's lover died or will die or something like that. I recognize there being a death somewhere in here, but I'm gonna go in the literal sense as well, that it says death right in the title. And that's my 3rd IllumiCrate book. So if I can read all the 3 IllumiCrate books I have mentioned, I will be able to complete my IllumiCrate goal. The final space I landed on the BookoplAthon board was Small Book again. So this time I'm going for The Pieces by Melissa Broder. This is a library book. I've had it for closer to 3 months now. I picked it up during the summer, so I need to return it soon. But I thought that, hey, I might actually try and read it before I return it. I don't know anything about it other than it's short and like a contemporary and kind of weird, but I think it will be good and that it might work with the rest of my TBR as well. That was Becca's BookoplAthon. Next up we have the GreekGodAthon mini round Pandora's Box. Honestly, this was like just announced by Esme. Like I literally watched the video 45 minutes ago. I have not entirely planned this, but we'll make it work. This is one of the readathons that will be difficult to plan for. This is a week-long readathon that takes place between the 23rd and the 30th of September, so like 1 week, but the last week in September. And also it's a readathon where you need to read the books in order. Personally, I love that challenge of reading books in a particular order. I really enjoy those readathons so much. But what's tricky here is I need to pick books that I can wait almost the entire month of September to read. So like I can't be too excited about them. And also I need to plan their order as well. So like I need to pick 3 books that I'm not crazy excited about, but still want to read, you know? There are 3 main prompts and 2 bonus prompts. I'm honestly just gonna aim for the 3 main ones. And my goal is actually to read 2 of the prompts. So if I can complete 2 prompts, I will be happy. The first prompt is Beauty of the Box, which means to read a book with either a beautiful cover or a beautiful title. Honestly, I feel like any of my IllumiCrate books would work actually. So what I might read for this prompt is actually You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. It's a stunning title and quite a stunning book actually. And also it's short, so I can actually do it within a week. Second prompt is Turn the Key. And this prompt is to read a book either featuring a new world to you or that is like a portal fantasy. And I suck at portal fantasies, so I'm asking you to please recommend me a portal fantasy, or if you see any book in this video that I'm talking about that is already on my TBR and that could work with this prompt, please let me know. Third prompt is Unleash Its Evil, and it's to read either a villain's origin story or a book where a great villain is featured, basically. My current plan is actually to read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. As I said, this is actually the origin story of President Snow, who is the villain in the Hunger Games series. So that's actually quite perfect. I'm very happy with how that turned out. Thank you, Esme. As I said, I have started this one already. I read a third of it. I don't freaking care. So in none of these readathons there are any like points or teams or anything like that. My reading will only affect myself. I won't be in any team or anything. So I'm going to allow myself, no matter what anyone says, to read current reads, like books I've already started. I'm participating in 8 readathons in September. Give me a break. And that's kind of my TBR for the GreekGodAthon Pandora's Box edition. Please help me out with the Portal Fantasy. Thank you. The next readathon is the Not Safe for Work-athon. It's a 69-hour readathon taking place between the 3rd of September until the 6th of September, hosted by Pages with Paige. It's just hilarious. Like, the prompts are so explicit, but you don't need to read explicit books. It's just that the prompts are explicit. This readathon is inspired by the 48-hour Bookopoly readathon, meaning that we only know of one prompt now, and then throughout those days, every 12 hours, a new prompt will be announced. So in total, there will be 6 prompts, but we only know of one so far, and we only have 3 days to read. My goal for this readathon is just to read one book. Like, if I can read one book during these days. Is it even a weekend? I think it's a weekend. Or no, not really perhaps. It's a Saturday until Tuesday for me, kinda. So my goal is just to read one book at least. So the first prompt is actually deep throating, hard to swallow, basically. Yeah. That was the prompt, right? I'm not sounding stupid, I hope. Like, I'm serious, that was the prompt. And the prompt means to read a book that's hard to swallow, meaning that it can be about a difficult topic. Okay, hard to swallow because of that. It's a difficult topic. For this one, I actually hope to listen to I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This is the memoir that has been everywhere on Twitter and BookTube lately. One of the actors from iCarly, I never watched iCarly, so I unfortunately don't know anything about her, or the show for that matter. It's quite controversial, like, or at least the title is, and the cover of it. I've heard amazing things about this one, and I'm getting a slight FOMO actually, so I do plan on listening to this. It's about her struggles as a former child actor, including eating disorders, addiction, complicated relationship with an overbearing mother, so on and so on. So I feel like this actually perfectly works with this prompt. Okay, we've talked about 1, 2, 3, 4 readathons. Okay, next readathon to talk about is the Shorty Shorts readathon. This is another hilarious one actually. It's all about reading short books in September, Shorty September, but the prompts are inspired by literal shorts, like the pants shorts. The prompts are so hilarious. We have like boxer shorts, cargo shorts, runway fashion shorts, ripped shorts, skirts, Bermuda shorts. Every single prompt is shorts inspired. So we're just gonna talk a bit about the prompts for this one. And now we're getting to the readathons where I haven't really planned my reading that much. I think with these ones I will have more of an approach of like, we'll see how it goes and what I'll do. I don't know. My goal for this Shorty Shorts readathon is to read at least 3 books. If I can complete 3 prompts for this one, I will be happy. So I actually pulled out all of the short books that I have, which aren't really that many. Also, it's up to you what you consider to be a short book. I decided to go with 300 pages. I know the creators are going for like 250 pages, but it's up to you. So yeah, this is my pile of possibilities. I could also actually go on Goodreads and sort my want to read based on page count. We have The Drowning Faith, which is actually like a short story companion to Poppy War. That would be perfect. It's 15 pages. I should be able to read it. Breach of Peace I actually have as an ebook. That one is barely scraping 100 pages actually. Stuck With You is a book I really want to read actually. It's the second book in the STEMinist novellas by Ali Hazelwood. There's plenty more books that I would be interested in reading. Let's see if I can fit at least some books into the prompts. One of the prompts is boxer shorts to read a comfort read. For this one I do plan on reading Legends and Lattes. As I said, high fantasy, low stakes. I've only heard incredible things. It's about an orc who decides to open up a cafe. We then have Shorty Shorts, which means to read a book from the 70s or 80s. I don't think I have any short books from that time period from the 70s or 80s. So feel free to give me recommendations. Third prompt is cargo shorts, something to do with nature. Once again, please leave any recommendations. We then have Runway Fashion Shorts is a book with a beautiful cover. I'm certain I have multiple. This one is pretty cool. It's Nothing Burns as Bright as You, and it's written in verse. So not only is it short, but it's also written in verse, which would make it an even quicker read. I actually do think this one is pretty cool as well. Ripped Shorts is a slasher / murder mystery. And for this one, I would then consider to read Murder on the Orient Express, because once again, Agatha Christie, murder mystery. We have Scorts, which is mixes genres or can't really fit into a genre box. I have the perfect book for this one, and this is a book that my brother gave me. It's this tiny little book, if you can even call it a book, called This is How You Become a Millionaire in Your Hammock. The thing is, my brother is really into like finance and stuff. He works with finance. He is a lot into like shares and stuff like that. My guess is that he picked this one up, read it, and then he gave it to me. Yeah, I have this book, but it's great because it's like not even 100 pages, and hopefully I can learn how to become a millionaire and buy more books. This is actually one of my main goals, to read this one. I think that would be pretty good. And I think I checked, and this one is actually on Goodreads, so I would be able to count it for my yearly goal as well. Another prompt is Half and Half Shorts, which is to read a book and then watch the movie. I don't know of any short books that have been turned into movies, so I mean, like, you can leave your recommendation if you want to, but this won't be any of the prompts I'm aiming for. Next prompt is Bermuda Shorts, which is to read a translated books. For this one, I'm considering to read Tender is the Flesh. The reason I'm reading this one will make sense because I will mention it for the LatinX bingo board. It's written by Agustina Basterica, and they are from Argentina. So it's translated from Spanish. And it's short as well. It's about 200 pages, and I know it's available on Scribd. And I've actually heard pretty good things about this one, so it will be interesting to read it. We then have Playsuit Shorts, aka a book you will regret, because if you're wearing a playsuit, you always regret it when you go to the bathroom. A book I might regret is The Pieces. I don't know anything about this one. I think it's one of those like that girl, sad girl sort of books. Could be, at least. It's about this young woman's love life. I'm getting Luster vibes, basically. And the only thing I know about this one is I think someone mentioned that this woman has sex with a fish. I don't know if that's exactly what goes down, but fish sex was mentioned when someone talked about this book. So because of that reason, or because I don't always vibe with the that girl, sad girl aesthetic, those two might be reasons why I will regret reading this one. We then have Lifeguard Shorts, a beach read. What I would consider to be a beach read is a romance novel, so I might read Stuck With You, the Ali Hazelwood book for this one. Could be fun. We then have Emperor's New Shorts, which is to read a book with an unreliable narrator. I can barely keep track of full-length books with unreliable narrator, much less short books with unreliable narrator. Final one is Denim Shorts, which is a modern classic. Once again, I don't have any book in mind for this one, but I feel like I still have plenty of books I would like to read for this readathon, and I'm certain it will be more than 3 books, so perhaps I should up my goal. I'm gonna say 4 books. 4 books is my goal for this one. Next one is a tricky one, because the next one is the Roll-the-rainbowthon, which is a week-long readathon happening between the 12th and the 19th of September. There's 2 different ways to approach this readathon, because we have like color cards and we also have prompts. You can choose to only focus on the color cards, or you can choose to combine it with the prompts. That's entirely up to you. I, of course, will make it difficult and try and combine the color cards and the prompts. There are 7 prompts in total. I will be aiming to read 2 books during this week. Prompt 1 has this orange color card, and the prompt is to read a seasonal read. Does any of these books that I've just talked about have autumn vibes? I don't know, like, I feel like this one would, because it's orange. Another thing about me, I suck at this thing with like seasonal reads. I have no clue what to read during which season. I'm sure I will find 2 other prompts to work with. Prompt 2 has this blue color card, and the prompt is your choice, meaning there is no prompt that you can do whatever you want. So a blue book, I mean Murder on the Orient Express, possibly. I could do a River Enchanted actually, because there's quite a bit of blue here. I feel like this blue would work. I have this one, but it's more dark blue and navy. This one is actually the closest I got, so I guess I'm aiming for a River Enchanted for this one. The third prompt is to read a book with this green color card, and also this book needs to have BIPOC representation either via the main character or the author. A book that is green that I'm considering to read is Stuck With You, but I do not believe it has BIPOC representation. Do I have any green books? I don't think I have any green books actually. This is actually another book from my short book stack. It's Film for Her by Orion Carlotto. It's a memoir slash poetry book, photo book written by Orion Carlotto. She's like an influencer and also writer and poet and like a little bit of everything, I would say. She has a very cool vibe and aesthetic, and I've enjoyed her poetry before. I follow her on Instagram. Like, she's cool. So she's second generation American immigrant, I think. Her dad is from Portugal and her mom is from Honduras, I think. So this could potentially work for BIPOC. And like, it has a bit of green at least. I really don't have any green books. Prompt 4 has this pink and lilac-y sort of color, and the prompt is cozy reading evening. This does not have to be in one evening, just whenever you can manage. So sometime during this week I need to have a cozy reading evening. I think this, although it's more peach, and like this one is super pink. Do I have any lilac books? Ooh, maybe. I feel like this is too strong of a pink. It's too neon. Let's go to prompt 5 and see what we can do. For prompt 5, the book must have one of the above 4 colors on the cover. So we have yellow, pink, green and blue. Here I can work with multiple ones. For the green one I could do Stuck With You. For the yellow one I could do The Pieces. And for the pink one I could do any of these really. No wait, this, I need to wait with this one. Okay, I cannot read this one for Rainbow-a-thon because I plan on reading it for GreekGodAthon, and those are different weeks. This is why I need to keep track of the weeks, right? So possibly Stuck With You or Death in Her Hands by Otessa Moshfegh. I've really been wanting to read this for a while actually. I really enjoyed my year of rest and relaxation. So perhaps these two? Prompt 6 has this color board. So we have blue, orange, yellow and blue again. This one is a bit more of a like orangey yellow. I have these two short books, The Gunslinger by Stephen King. It has a bit of orange and yellow in it. Also Start Your Own Fucking Brand, which is like a Swedish business book that I also got from my brother. You can sense a theme. Or wait. This one would be perfect for prompt 6 actually. It has both kind of the yellow and kind of the orange. Okay, this one. I think I'm gonna go for this one. Nothing Burns As Bright As You. I think it's about two girls that used to be friends and then something happened. We're getting somewhere. I can feel it. Prompt 7 is to read a book that has any of these 9 colors on the cover. All of them are red, basically. And the prompt matching this one is to read a book with a black or white cover. You can either combine all of them, so you read a book with black, white and red on it, or you can only read a red book or only read a black and white book. It's up to you. Usually I would love this prompt. Like, my colors are red, black and white. But I don't have any red books really on my TBR for September. And I'm not gonna add any just for the case of showing it here. Like, I would consider to read Jade War actually. And that one was tied to win my MakeMeRead readathon thing. But also those weeks wouldn't match, so that wouldn't work either way. I'm gonna skip this prompt. I have 3 books planned for this readathon, and my goal was 2. So I feel like that's pretty good. And I have 2 options for one of them. Either Stuck With You or Pieces? The Piskies? Do you say pieces or Piskies? Piskes? I suck at horoscopes, so I'm sorry that I can't pronounce this. The Piskies. I think it's Piskies, maybe? I don't know. 2 reading challenges to go. Next reading challenge is the LatinX Book Bingo of 2022. This is a readathon, a reading challenge with the purpose of trying to read Latinx authors during Latinx Heritage Month. This readathon is actually taking place between the 15th of September until the 15th of October. So it's like half in September, half in October. There's a bingo board for this one. I will insert it. And my goal is to complete 1 bingo in any way, shape, direction. And yes, I will allow myself to do repeats, to use one book for multiple prompts. We have the group book that I mentioned, which is Burn Down, Rise Up. I will read Tender is the Flesh for set in Latin America. I will also count this as a translated book because it was originally written in Spanish. I will also count this for horror. So I need to fill that up somehow. I don't have the best knowledge about LatinX books. Please feel free to recommend me books for LatinX as well. I know that they are also posting recommendations on their Twitter page, and I'm certain that there are plenty of other books I would be interested in reading for this readathon, but I also have time to figure it out. Final reading challenge is what I like to call Kevin's Autumn Challenge. This isn't really an official readathon or anything like that. It's just my friend Kevin who decided to post a bingo board with autumny, fall-ish vibe prompts. Once again, my goal during the entirety of this fall or autumn, so not limited to just September, my goal will be to get at least one bingo. And yes, I will allow myself to do repeats. This will also depend on my October TBR and my November TBR that I don't even know about yet. Some ideas I have for prompts is like for translated book, once again I can do Tender is the Flesh. Fantasy, I could do any of the Founders side books really, or the Founders series books. Cozy read, Legends and Lattes, obviously. Currently reading will work perfectly with the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Fire on the Cover, Smoke is in Your Eyes. Spooky, White Smoke. Also could work for young adults. Short books, I have plenty of short books on my TBR. I'm doing Shorty Septembers, I have plenty. With these book bingos, I'm just gonna have to see as I go, at least with Kevin's. LatinX, I do need to plan. Those are actually all the book events, all the readathons, read-alongs and book clubs. How should I summarize this? Because I feel like I've already forgotten everything I need to read. If I count the book clubs and read-alongs, that equals to 3 books I need to read, 2 books in October. We're doing like the minimum. How many books do I need to read as a minimum? NSFWathon, we had I'm Glad My Mom Died. 4 books for MakeMeRead. I'm already fucked. 6 books for Becca's BookoplAthon. I won't make it. I see it now. I won't make it. GreekGodAthon. I should have crossovers here, right? We have 1, 2 crossovers. Possibly 1 new book for that one. Depends on what the Portal Fantasy will be. I'm not certain. Perhaps I am able to make GreekGodAthon work for me. I'm not gonna add any books for GreekGodAthon specifically. Shorter shorts. My aim was to read 4. So we have Legends and Lattes. We know that one already. Tender is the Flesh. Need to add that one. I've mentioned 2 already, so 3, but I only need to read 2, so 2 I guess we're saying for that one. Roll the Rainbow, aim is 2, but we have A River Enchanted and a book I've probably already mentioned, so not gonna add any for that one. LatinX, I'm gonna need to add something else. I think I need to read at least 1 other book in order to get a bingo row. And then Kevin's bingo I'm not gonna count because it's the entirety of autumn. That adds up to 4, 8, 14, 16, 17 books. The lowest possible number of books I need to read in order to complete this TBR. Well, it was nice knowing ya, because you won't be seeing me for a while. I will be reading. I won't have any time to make videos. All I need to do is read in September. I'm going on vacation. It's my birthday. I'm gaining books. Oh, but what if I get a book I really want to read? There is actually another book or a couple of other books that I would love to read in September, and that is that I would love to continue with the Warm Bodies series. This is the sequel, 3rd book in the series, but the sequel to Warm Bodies, and on my Kobo, my e-reader, I have the 3rd book, the final book in the series, which is called The Living. I'm currently working on a Warm Bodies vlog, but it's taking longer than expected because I have not been reading that much because I'm being crazy stressed about work and life. If I can squeeze this one in somewhere, I would love to do it. Could work for the red and black prompt, right? Considering I have at least, what did I say, like 12 or 13 books on my TBR, no, 17. Wish me luck. I am crazy excited about reading. I have been for a while. I'm very excited about this challenge. As I said at the start of this very long video, I love this challenge. I adore planning these TBRs and actually trying to make it work. And last time I did this, I read really well for the first half of the month. Like the first 2 weeks, I killed it. And then I started to slack and slump. I'm kind of expecting something similar to happen. We're gonna have to see. I'm gonna continue to do this challenge until I actually once manage to complete my entire TBR with like 30 different readathons and book clubs. That's the main goal. One day I'm gonna be able to work out the perfect TBR for like 15 different readathons, and I will only need 5 books, and it's gonna be epic. I promise you. We're not there yet. We're definitely not. But one day we're gonna be. I feel like I have been blabbering enough. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Please take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what